What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here with Nick Tasso, taking a look at pitching for Tuesday's slate. Big slate. I mean, a couple aces supposed to go. I mean, we might have you, Darvish. We're doing this the night before, so A's game still in contention for another rainout.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot to work with here, so let's get right down to it.
First one here, got White Sox and Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Miguel Gonzalez taking on Luis Severino. Miguel Gonzalez, definitely not a guy that I'm looking at. Severino, I have a little bit of interest in.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Gonzalez is no, there's too many lefties in that Yankees lineup, which really scare me. And then you got Severino, who, whenever you have White Sox team, is always a GPP kind of play. You can throw a starter out there. Sometimes the White Sox offense shows up, but most nights they do not. So I really don't mind Severino. He still isn't where I want him to be at, but he is coming off a good outing. Plus, he's pretty cheap, so you could really fit him into a lot of lineups.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him, reverse splits pitcher. So, I mean, I guess really outside of Jose Abreu and if Todd Frazier's in the lineup, I mean, that's really the only worry for me. And he just doesn't allow a ton of hard contact. He can miss some bats as well. So, I mean, definitely kind of your SP2 DK tournament move.
Absolutely. I probably wouldn't use him in FanDuel as my only one, but definitely DK if you need a second guy. He's not too shabby.
Red Sox and Blue Jays next year. Brian Johnson getting a start versus Marcus Stroman in the Rogers Center. Looking at Brian Johnson, obviously we look at this Blue Jays offense that's been really struggling for the year, but it just doesn't make him viable though.
No, absolutely not. I know he's extremely cheap, but I think this is the night Toronto's bats actually wake up. Johnson, he is what it is. I think he hasn't shown too much since being called up. I know he hasn't had a huge chance, but it is what it is. And I think the unknownness of him might benefit him, but at the same time, you have a bunch of guys, even without Donaldson, who can really hit you pretty hard.
Yeah, and on the other side, Marcus Stroman, definitely a talented pitcher. I just worry about in terms of upside and really safety if he has it on a full slate, if I'm going to really be using him here.
Yeah, for me, his price is a little bit too high, too, to really go after, especially bad ballpark, somewhat of a good offense in Boston. Obviously, they're not as good as last year, but I still think it's a stay away for me.
Yep. Baltimore, Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, Bronson Arroyo versus Ubaldo Jimenez. No thanks to either of these guys.
Yeah, if Cincinnati wasn't going so well offensively, I'd probably take a stab at Gossman because he always has that strikeout potential. But honestly, he just hasn't really shown it that this year. So I agree with you. Stay away from Gossman. And I don't even think Arroyo could make any sort of lineup, even at his $4,000 price tag on DraftKings.
Nope. Tigers and Rays.
Points.
Tigers and Rays here. Michael Fulmer versus Matt Andriese. Fulmer off to kind of a rougher start to the season than I was expecting. Had a solid outing last time out. Wasn't bad against the Sox, but he gets a dream matchup here against a Rays team that's just really strikeout heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though the Rays do have a lot of lefties in there, strikeout potential is just so high. Plus, you're in Tropicana Field, which isn't a huge ballpark. He really just has to navigate around Evan Longoria and even Brad Miller. But other than that, I'm not too concerned about this game against him.
I'm not either. I mean, I like the Fulmer price tag too. I think 8,900 right there on DK is a nice fit for him. His FanDuel price is nice as well. So, I mean, for me, I was kind of worried that he'd be a little bit more expensive than I like, but I think this really fits the bill, and I think he's playable really in both formats.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you there. Like I just said, there's not too many guys who scare me. Sure, you could get Dickerson and Logan Morrison, but typically you only see solo home run shots by them, and other than that, they're not going to get on base a lot to give Fulmer trouble.
No. On the other side, no real use for Matt Andriese on a slate like this.
Yeah, absolutely not. Maybe if it was different, a little bit different starters out there, I could understand using them, but against Detroit, it doesn't make sense.
Mets and Phillies next one here. Zach Wheeler versus Zach Eflin. Start with Zach Wheeler here. I mean, kind of got unlucky a bit in that last game. I mean, he was heading for a really nice start and just kind of had that rough outing before departing. I think Wheeler's in a better line here, just being at home against the same Phillies offense. I think he gets the job done.
Yeah, I'm probably staying away from both these teams because I've seen a little bit of the Mets hit well, and you look at Philly and they've done well too. So I'm personally staying away from him. I think the price tag on Wheeler is good, but it's just not what I want to do. He's too shaky for me. Plus, he hasn't really shown that he can go deep into games right now.
Yeah, definitely understand when coming off the injury. You're looking at 6 innings max out of him. Um, and as you said, I mean, Philly's been a better offense to start this season so far.
Yeah, and I'm staying away from Zach Efron as well.
Yeah. Nationals and Braves, looking at Max Scherzer versus Mike Foltynewicz. Scherzer obviously comes in as kind of the lone, well, really is the lone ace on tonight's slate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. Look at the Braves one night. They got Jared Weaver. Now they got Max Scherzer. Completely two different guys. So if I was what I do wrong?
No, we're talking like a 40-mile-per-hour difference in fastballs between
Yeah, I
Weaver and
mean,
Scherzer.
yeah. Oh, I thought I messed something up, but yeah, Scherzer is like completely different pitcher. He's much better. He can get lefties, righties out. It doesn't matter. And you look at Weaver the night before. He is what he is. So it's going to kind of throw them for a loop. His price tag, as always, with Scherzer is extremely high. But I definitely like him here. You could probably fit him in most lineups just because there are so many options on this slate for roster construction.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Scherzer coming in as, a lot of strikeout upside here. 31% strikeout rate going back to last year. Did have a little bit of issues kind of on the road with lefty power, but not really too worried. I mean, outside of Freeman, not too
Yeah,
much to
I
really
mean,
worry about.
yeah, you have Mark Akis, but he's more of like a singles and doubles hitter now.
Yeah. And Foltynewicz, I mean, I don't think he's a bad right-hander. I think there's going to be spots to use him this year, but probably not one tonight against this Nationals lineup that's really tough to get through.
Yeah, Fulte really struggles too with lefties, and Washington has a bunch of them. So I am staying far away.
Brewers and Cubs, Brett Anderson versus Jimmy Nelson. Jimmy Nelson's off to a good start this year. I still don't think that he's really anything special, though. I don't know how much I can get behind him. I think in this matchup, it might be one of those ones where like maybe I'm not looking to attack him as much, but I definitely don't want to use him either.
Yeah, to me, this entire game is just sort of a stay away game. You have Brett Anderson, who really can't go past 5 as well, and Nelson has pitched good, but how long is that really going to last for against this Chicago team? So I think the smart money is to just stay away from this game altogether.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless there's the wind's blowing out quite a bit, I mean, that's really the only shot where I might start looking at a couple hitters.
Yeah, I see that there because what was it, 2 years ago? Wrigley was a great hitter's park. Then last year it was pretty bad. So you just have to pay attention and see where the wind is blowing.
Yeah. Indians Twins, Josh Tomlin, Phil Hughes, two of the weaker right-handed arms on the slate. Extremely home run prone for both of them. I don't want to. Twins offense is absolutely rolling right now, so I don't want to attack them.
Yeah, I'm on to the next game. Angels in Houston, right?
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it.
No. Angels and Astros, Joe Musgrove versus Ricky Nolasco. I think this is another one where I'm just kind of staying away.
Yeah, I'd say that, but the Angels' offense to me is really pathetic, and I know Musgrove hasn't really shown the high strikeout percentage or even real ability to go deeper in games, but I think this is where it kind of changes. If you are looking for a GPP play, this would be my guy. It's pretty cheap as well. I know I'm going out on a limb, so all you haters can yell at me the next day, but for right now, I like Musgrove.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like
it's okay.
If I've seen the upside before, we haven't seen it quite yet this year. Last year we did see some strikeout upside. The Angels are striking out a little bit more. I mean, in terms of the price tag, I definitely like it. I think I might lean just a little bit more towards like a Severino for a little bit cheaper.
No, I totally agree with you, but in my opinion, I think the Angels' offense really isn't that great. They had Ben Revere batting second the other day, and that's not going to do well.
No, I definitely agree with you. I mean, that offense is terrible outside of really Trout and Calhoun.
Pujols.
Yeah.
Nice. He's terrible. Everyone's terrible.
And Nolasco is never really a guy to look at.
No.
Oh boy.
Nope. Not against Houston. I think I did play him actually in his first game. He wasn't that terrible, but it was a late slate, so that probably was the reason why I did it. So we can move on.
San Francisco, Kansas City, Jason Hamill versus Matt Cain. Decent ballpark there for pitchers. Matt Cain looked pretty decent his first game, but still, I wouldn't say that he's back. I mean, you might be able to get away with using a Matt Cain here on DK at that price, but it is a stretch. I don't feel good saying it.
Yeah, I don't really feel good about Matt Cain as well, but under 5K, it's really good and hard to find on DraftKings for pitchers. And you have to look at this Kansas City offense. They are basically in the same boat as the Angels, and they just look pretty awful. I don't think there's a huge strikeout upside for Cain, so that's probably why I wouldn't play him. But 4,800 is really appealing.
It is. I mean, you can you pair him with a Scherzer. I mean, you're not sucking up a ton of cash. His Royals team, I mean, 24th in WOBA against righties. They're not hitting the ball hard. They're not walking like they used to. This is just simply a line that really has tailed off over basically the last year and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kauffman Stadium still is just, that's where hitters go to die. So it looks like they finally started dying in Kansas City.
As far as the Giants go, I mean, Jason Hamill, this Giants lineup, not anything, special either. You look at Hamill, I just don't see if he's got the juice anymore to really get through even this lineup.
No, I'd probably stay away from him as well. His price tag isn't even that low either, so not something I want to do.
Yeah. Pirates Cardinals, Chad Kuhl versus Mike Leake. Chad Kuhl, not saying he's going to get rocked, but probably just not any strikeout upside here.
Yeah, this is one of the games where I'm kind of staying away. I know St. Louis has struggled offensively, but they still have some good hitters, so I'm not a huge fan of that. Plus, Mike Leake at the end of the day is Mike Leake, and same thing basically I could just say for Pittsburgh, same kind of boat. They still have good hitters on the team, even though they really haven't performed this year. But when you consider Mike Leake's price tag a little bit higher, I'm going to stay away.
I kind of don't mind Leake.
You're going to do it? You're going to do it?
Yeah, I think the price I would like to be a little bit lower, maybe like $500 lower. But this is definitely a lineup he can get through because, I mean, Gregory Polanco was out of the lineup again on Monday. Really, the only real thing that you got to worry about with Mike Leake is lefties, and there could be only just one or two guys in there, and none of them are really notable names.
No, I get that. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play a FanDuel. You're going to take Leake. I'm going to take Musgrove, and we're going to see what happens.
I don't want him on FanDuel.
No? Alrighty. Well,
DK, I'll use him on DK.
Oh, alrighty. I see how it is. Are we going to Texas Oakland now?
Yeah, Texas Oakland, which could be various
Darvish
pitchers
and Triggs, who knows?
Yeah, we could get Cotton here. We could get Triggs. I actually don't think either are bad options at their price tags. I can actually consider using both of them just because Texas offense does struggle on the road. If Darvish pitches, I have some interest in Darvish as well as kind of a cheaper pivot off Scherzer in tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've looked this year, and Triggs has been extremely good, and even Cotton was good in his last outing, so I don't mind them. Texas, a lot of righties, but some lefties who could do damage. When you factor in Oakland, probably staying away. Plus, you get good price tags on both guys, so I like that. And I could see using Yu Darvish. I think for me, he's a little overpriced because he's still somewhat close to Max Scherzer. And at the end of the day, when you have 15 games, you really have a lot of options at every single position. So not spending up on pitching sometimes isn't the best on big slates.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said, there is a closer difference. It's still about 2,000 though for me. I still think that's a good enough one for where I can make the pivot.
Yeah, it is a lot. I guess it would all come down to roster construction for me, but I'm just not a fan of Yu Darvish.
Marlins in Seattle, Giovanni Gallardo versus Wei-Yin Chin. I mean, I can see some of these guys having a decent outing, but I don't think the upside's really there on a full slate to really use them.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you look at Chen, and he struggles in his career against righties, giving up home runs, 2 last game, and you have the big bopper Nelson Cruz. So that guy I'm staying away, and you can never trust Giovanni Gallardo in any scenario, so I am staying away from that as well.
Yep. Colorado, Los Angeles, you got Kyle Freeland versus Hyunjin Ryu. I don't think either, even with the Rockies offense and being away from Coors, I still don't think I trust Ryu here. And I definitely, even lefty against the Dodgers, I still don't trust Freeland.
No, this is a stay away game for me. It's that simple.
Next one here, Diamondbacks and Padres, Shelby Miller versus Jared Cozart. I feel like Shelby Miller is still a GPP play. He just has to get out of that one bad inning. That's been what's killed him so far to start this year.
Yeah, I see that there. And his price tag is just like, please play me. And it's very sad because I don't want to do it, but I think, unfortunately, I might do it. When you have San Diego, like you literally could almost roster or consider rostering any starting pitcher, including Bronson Arroyo. So it's just one of those things where you have Miller against San Diego in Petco, 7,500. You could do a lot worse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you could. So, I mean, he's in play. Jared Cozart, not a guy who's going to go deep into the game. No real use for him here, even at home.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, you look at Arizona, and even though they have a lot of righties in there, they still hit right-handed starting pitchers pretty well. So staying away from Cozart.
Yep. So let's wrap things up here. You can head over to dailyfantasycafe.com, check out our great tools and content.